Uh, I think that Diaz, Ederson, and maybe Cancelo are all going to be the only ones who's going to start in the Champions League finals.
You think
And
Cancelo will
I
start
don't think
ahead of Zinchenko?
maybe he really needs to step up his game because
Hmm.
he's also been in a very declining. Just because Sterling hasn't scored or assisted many, but people are like throwing that their attention on Sterling. But Cancelo has really been disappointing because he was very disappointing in FA Cup semi-finals. He was disappointing against PSG when he played as a left back. He played today as a right back. He was again disappointing today. I don't think he did anything valuable on the pitch. He didn't do anything, and he was playing as a wing back, so he had a lot more freedom to attack than he usually has. So I was expecting him to create a bit more, and Marcus Alonso was really did a good job defending him.
Hmm.
So I think Diaz and Ederson would be the only. Not think they obviously they would be the only ones to start the game in Champions League finals. So, and talking about the hands thing that uh, didn't want either managers didn't want others to know what their plan is
Exactly.
going to. I think it's not a very big thing to do because
Because
you
yeah,
know
because
Pep
they have videos. I mean, they know each
obviously
other.
because Pep played against PSG, he played against Dortmund, Chelsea played against
Real,
Real Madrid, against
Porto.
Atletico, and
Yeah,
I don't think that they are going to play any differently from how they
exactly.
did. They just need to maintain that intensity
But
that they
now,
achieved in
but
those.
actually now I fear. I mean, I don't know, Pep. I just hope that he doesn't overthink because I mean, it's just really for me. I think it was just about personnel on the pitch and nothing else. Because if you look at the match, I mean, Aguero's miss, and oh,
Hmm.
I did not come to that actually. The penalty that I mean, and I don't and how I know it's a penalty because Andy Townsend was saying it was a penalty for City,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
which
The
I think
Sterling,
yeah, which I think, well, if Andy is saying that something is for going for City, then I think it should be looked at because he never favors us.
I yeah, that's true. But what disappointed me was that I don't think the VAR check was done properly in that
Exactly.
because normally the play is stopped and then they have a VAR check.
True.
But this was that the play was just, and the moment that the commentators announced that the play is going to go on and the check would be having, we will be having a check, ongoing check would be there. I thought that it's not going to go to a
Yeah.
penalty because I don't see them stopping the game mid game and then going for a penalty over there. But it was a very big, and I think that was one of the biggest thing we conceded the second goal because the players, they are frustrated at that time and they tend to
Yeah, you are a bit
switch
switched.
off.
Oh, yeah, you switch
They
off.
tend to, because
Hmm.
that it's then for them it's one of those games where nothing is going
Hmm.
towards their way. Clearly, we didn't get very clear chances. Chelsea got a lot more chances than us. The goal that how we scored, it was out of nowhere. It was, I think Christensen did a mistake over there, and
Yeah.
then Aguero did do a poor touch, but
Hmm.
thankfully Sterling followed him and scored the goal. But I really think that the first penalty needed to be scored because if a team is conceding 2 goals in 5 minutes, then it's really difficult for them. Even, and it's in the brink of halftime. That's the worst
Exactly.
time to actually
Yeah.
concede because now you have to go at the halftime break 15 minutes frustrated with you that you couldn't see the half through, and then you have to change tactics here and then. But Chelsea bounced back beautifully, and that's how they have been doing. Actually, they have been so good uh, in these last couple of months that they really deserve to win today. I don't think the City deserve to win. Yes, there was a penalty here and there, but still, I don't think they deserve to win today just because the way we conceded was not acceptable for a
Hmm.
team who's about to win their third Premier League in 4 years, and they are in the Champions League finals. So that was that.
But
So
yeah, but I think City fans. I mean, the hopeful, the positive ones, and maybe they're like typical City fans like me. I mean, they will be reading a lot into this, and might be going into like all this history stuff. And oh, but I mean, I think for the logical ones, I think they won't be reading into much because there were a lot of personal change. And when you look at Phil Foden, when he came on, he actually was a big threat for us when against them. And he created like he that ball over him for the penalty one. It was a beautiful ball, and he was turning and twisting. So I mean, he looks like the player we can depend upon. And of course, KDB was missing. So I mean, I think there's not too much to read into it, and I think we should not go into the final any much less confident, because we did beat the favorites, I think, for the tournament, and we did beat them handsomely. So,
Exactly.
hmm,
Exactly. And for those City fans who would be reading too much, I just want to say that De Bruyne wasn't there in the bench also. So
hmm.
I think that he should have been on the bench, but I
I
still
think
think
there
that
was
Pep wouldn't have.
injury. I think they are saying that
Yeah,
there is, they are saying,
yeah.
yeah.
He
But
wasn't
who
fit
knows?
completely. Hopeful.
But who knows?
Yeah, but he wasn't there on the pitch. Bernardo Silva wasn't there, and the biggest thing who wasn't there was Riyad Mahrez, who has
Hmm.
been the guy who scores the goal. There are so many guys who create chances, but there needs to be a guy who scores the goal. He
He
scored
has
three
that in
goals in
him.
the.
He has that in him.
Yes,
He's like,
exactly. And
this
if
is,
he has that confidence, and he has been scoring those goals in Champions League against big teams, so
yeah.
he knows that in the finals he can score. And he hasn't played against Chelsea this season. I don't think
Hmm.
that he played in the first half, first match also, the one we won 3-1. I don't think that Mahrez was there. In
Hmm.
the semi-finals, he wasn't there, and today he wasn't there. So I don't know whether this is a good decision by Pep, because he might be a bit confused playing against a very different Chelsea side than the one he played against before. But his confidence and his form is really good, so it might
And I don't know,
pay for us.
yeah, and I don't know who will be the player for the finals, because if I don't know if you feel this, but for me, our biggest big game player, for me, it's Bernardo Silva. I think whenever there is a big game, that is the guy I'm putting in the top of my list before anyone. I don't. I would not put him like if there is like if the opponent is not that big, the match is not that at a big stake. But if there is a big match, I just trust him in that way. Just
Hmm.
what do you have like? What do you think about Bernardo Silva's contribution?
I think that he is one guy who people shouldn't judge with goals and assists,
Hmm.
because it's everything else that he does on the pitch. He doesn't get a lot of assists. He doesn't score a lot, but it's his dribbling, his way of keeping the ball. He runs a lot, and that's a very good thing, because he's running everywhere. He can defend also, and if you see how many play positions he can play, there are a lot of positions that he can play. So he's also a very positive factor, because he never gives up until the very end. If he was there today, I still think that Man City wouldn't have switched off, because he was the one who runs
Yeah,
always trying to get the ball.
he's always
We've seen
concentrated.
him.
Yeah,
Yes, we've seen him tackling, sliding tackles so much. I don't think there's any forward player who slide tackles so much as this guy.
and
So
accurately.
I don't think accurately, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, accurately. So I still think that if he was there today, then I don't think that Man City would have considered the second one. They would have considered the first one because it was coming, but the second one was really unfortunate, and it was just Man City's own
Yeah,
problem
I, I
and
mean,
mistake.
I mean, City is a team, not like a big players. We don't have any in the match winners, but we do have match winners, because I think if you look at it, I think the round of 16, I think it was De Bruyne for both the legs, or Bernardo Silva, you can say. And I think quarterfinals, you have to give it to Foden. And semifinals was all about Mahrez. So
Mahrez.
I just have a feeling that there is someone in the finals. I don't want to think over it, but yeah, I mean, I think they're like maybe a Diaz or maybe a Bernardo Silva. You know,
I think Diaz has been good all these three ties, because and
no,
he has
no,
played
yeah.
all six matches, right?
Yeah. I'm not saying that. Of course, it has been a team effort, but I think just the way we will remember. I think how I think when you would remember the Dortmund game, I think the two goals that are gonna come to your mind was like the Foden screamer and the Foden say first the sec the, s- the one goal that was in the first leg, and the ice cold celebration after that. And then when you look at the PSG game, of course, the Mahrez goal is going to come to your mind. So I think there might be. I don't think there would be the one we would be expecting who would like take the final away. But I think Bernardo Silva and Ruben Diaz are big good shout for the finals.
I think that there could be many more because Gundogan is due to
Yeah,
have a
yeah,
really good game because he has been
and he
scoring a lot
deserves it.
this
He
season.
deserves. He
And
really.
he
Yeah.
he's the only player in Man City right now who has a Champions League final appearance, and
Hmm.
he also has scored in a Champions League finals.
Hmm.
So I won't be shocked if it comes from him because technically he has the most experience in the players in playing in that stage. None
Hmm.
of none of them have ever played in the other 10. The other
Yeah.
10 have never played in the Champions League final. He's the only one. And he was brilliant in both those legs in PSG. The first half,
Yeah.
in the first leg, he wasn't that good, but the second half, he was really good.
Exactly.
He drew
Yeah.
that red card, and
Yeah.
the second leg, completely, he was
Yeah.
there. So Gundogan could also be a big factor. I think De Bruyne's also again going to be a big factor because
He will
anyone
always
who
be a
plays,
big factor. I think he controls the
yeah, because
tempo.
exactly because Chelsea would also target him.
Hmm, of
Like
course.
they
Oh,
would try
what I
to,
did you notice that when Foden came on, I think there was man marking on him.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
there was.
that is big compliment for Foden. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Because if they are man marking Foden, and Man City is good at one thing that I don't think many teams are, is that is creating spaces in front of in front of the goal because Sterling and they have good positional approach in their game. So if someone's man marking Foden, that means there is going to be a space left in the defensive zone,
and I
and
think
that's
and
how
I
Man
think
City
Foden is that kind of player that who can wriggle out of a man mark. I mean,
exactly.
instead of like I think if you could talk about Sterling, I think he can be stopped if you man mark him. But Foden is just so smart in way like he will drop or he will make a quick one pass or that or maybe like it on halfway turn he will just ditch you. I think it would be a bad thing to man mark him. I mean, you can man mark. I think even De Bruyne. But I think point
Mhm.
because just the way half the turn the turn on the halfway thing, it's just crazy. Like the he does that. I think that comes like
Also,
it reminds me of Silva so much when he does that.
also that Foden is very fast with the ball, and
That is
players
also
tend to
deceptive. Like that is
chase.
very deceptive.
Uh, Players normally try to chase him. No, there's no one waiting for him to come. Today also we saw there was a moment. I think two or three players tried to surround him as he went with the ball. I don't know what was the end result of that attack, but there was a moment in that, and he will be a very big key for us too in
Yeah,
the
and I
finals.
think these will be the
And
only players
Chelsea,
because the ones that were put on today, I think they did not help themselves and they did not, anything that they like try to put doubt in Guardiola's mind, like they can be the one who will might edge ahead of others. I don't think there is one who made a case for themselves.
yeah, they didn't help themselves because there are still three matches left in the Premier League and not very big three match. It's Brighton, Newcastle, and
Exactly.
Everton.
They're not going to be judged on that.
So
It was this.
obviously they are not going to. They are going to get playing time. I still
Yeah.
think that we aren't going to feel very strong 11s
No,
except
no,
for
no,
the
no,
Everton game.
definitely.
But and I am hoping to see Benjamin Mendy a lot more in these three games, and I have to be expected to be frustrated by him. But it's still I don't think that they still if they do something out of extraordinary like
Hmm.
Mendy did against Leicester, scoring a goal, or he was very good against Palace also. But today's performance just set him back again because I think that he was trying to win the manager's trust by
Hmm.
playing positive football. Except for the semi-finals game, he was good against Palace, and he was also good against Leicester City. So he was trying to build managers' trust, but again, today's game just set him back
I
right where
think
he
the
started from.
only player, like you said, I think Cancelo might give a headache to Guardiola. I mean, I think because he's just,
Mhm.
I mean, I really rate his standing tackles. He's just, they're superb. And and he is a very intelligent player. And on his day, he can be like unplayable sometimes. He's just too smart. I mean, but I think April Jesus might, I don't know. I mean, he did impact this match, but you know, in a way, I don't know. But because yeah, just like you said, there are three more matches. Anything can happen. They had a injury with Christensen, and hopefully we will have a squad fit. I mean, if we just win the other one, let's just play academy players. Let's just play academy players.
I
Playing with
mean,
players.
it's textbook for us to win at least Brighton or Newcastle.
Hmm.
So yeah, you can play academy players, you can test out, because again the striker things comes in, because Pep has confirmed that Liam Delap is going to be a
Yeah.
regular in the team.
No,
So
I think he just said that he will not go on loan and he will train with the team.
I
Yeah, that just means that he will be
yeah that
sitting on
yeah,
the
but
bench.
because yeah, but he might get a game here and there, maybe Carabao
But
Cup or
with
FA Cup.
Guardiola, you can really win him with good attitude and like or an honest work on the ground. Really, you don't have to like do extraordinary things because he rates. I mean, we have seen that
Mm,
Zinchenko and even with
exactly.
yeah. So
He's happy if you do your job. That's
exactly,
only what he wants. He doesn't expect you to go in and go out and just produce a masterclass. He just wants you to do your job, because if you do your job, then other players around you will
exactly.
do their job. So, and that's what football game is about. If players do their job, obviously they are going to win the games. And today we saw clearly that no one did their job except for Laporte. Diaz was very restricted. I think I didn't even see him for a long time in the pitch. He didn't get a
And
lot of ball,
yeah, and when you
and
talk about
I don't know why.
not seeing when Ferran came off, I forgot he was even playing. Like I then noticed that he was playing.
Yeah,
Did you
exactly.
see him?
Farhan, in the first half, yes, he was, because he was dropping down and helping Rodri to get some passes there. But in the second half, I didn't see him, and it was actually good decision by Pep, because he wants to get it done today. He wanted to get it done today, and
Exactly.
after this result, that I think that he would have been happy with 1 point also. As I
Hmm.
told you before the game, also
Yeah.
a draw would be a good result,
And I
and
was
it was going that.
and I was like I think my confidence grew as the game grew because I was not confident at all with the lineup. I thought like we would get embarrassed, but it's just that Chelsea also they just don't look like scoring. I mean they do score like one or two goals, but they're not the team you will fear, to be honest. Like they're gonna score. It's just that it's so hard to break them down.
They are structurally very good, and there
Hmm.
are so many times seen today also. There's that one pass coming from either of those midfield players in Chelsea that just breaks down. There was a goal. It wasn't a goal. It was flagged offside, but that was
Yeah, I
such a brilliant
remember.
move by Chelsea. The
Yeah, yeah.
Pulisic, Reece James, and it was finished by Hudson Odoi. I really thought that it was a goal, because I couldn't see, and that was a brilliant officiating by the linesman, and that was such a good move by Chelsea to break down Man City's defense. And if they are able to do that in a consistent basis, then it's really going to be very tough, because they are defensively very strong. They
Yeah.
play with back three. They have Thiago Silva in the middle, who's a driving force in the defensive line. They have Rudiger, who's ready to do anything on the pitch. And I don't know whether Christensen would be fit or not, but they have Zuma and Aspi, so it's
I
going to be
mean,
difficult to
yeah, I mean, we
break
lost
them
today,
down.
and but I think it's not. It's never lost, never good. It's disappointing as always, but it's not earth-shattering in a way. It's just like it's just loss, but it can be if we lose another one.
It depends on how Manchester United also
Yeah.
perform, because they
Mm,
have to play 3 games in this week.
yeah.
It's not a very, and they also have to prepare for a Europa League final. And we've seen how bad Manchester United are without their some key players.
They should
They
just
literally
do us
lost
a
the.
favor and lose one match. I mean, they should just.
I think they draw one, then it would be a big relief too. I don't. It's not a relief. It would be a very good step towards Man
Yeah.
City if they draw one game. And I can see them drawing one game, because they are playing against Leicester. They are playing against Liverpool. They are going to play against Aston Villa. These are some big games which
Mm.
can happen. That can go either way. But if it would have been a regular season with like 3 or 4 days gap between each game, then maybe Man United could have seen through. But 3 games in a week, it's really tough for some team that actually relies a lot on their first 11. They don't have a very good bench strength, so they can't rotate much. They have some players who are injury prone. Rashford has been carrying injury for about 2 years now. Pogba is, very injury prone. He gets knocks every match. Cavani is the one who's always there along with Bruno Fernandes. So it's going to be difficult for Man United, and I still think that they will drop points. There's a lot of pressure on them. They need to. They have secured their top 4 position, but they still need to see through the last 5 games that they have. And
yeah,
suspension of that Liverpool game didn't help them at all.
And coming on to these last few fixtures, Newcastle, I think we are going to play next. They had an amazing game. I mean, they are. I think they are really in good form. They have these players, Callum Wilson and Saint Ellen Maxima back, and Willock also is. I think it won't be any way an easy match. And if we play like the way we played today, I mean, we can end up losing.
Yeah, but we were playing against Chelsea today, and it's Newcastle.
No, I'm saying Newcastle also. They playing against Leicester. I think Leicester is in a very they're in top 3. Yeah. So.
But it was in the Leicester game, and I watched that game, and it was mostly Leicester's. But yeah, Newcastle were really good precision wise, because they scored the chances they got, and
they have the momentum now.
Yes, they have the momentum, and Leicester didn't have Johnny Evans also, or
Johnny Evans was not.
Johnny Evans was not there, so also Leicester were a bit weak. But 4-2 losing at home is not a good result for them.
They also are not going to field a strong 11, as you said before. I think so. It can be like.
I think that maybe one of the midfielders can come in. I really wanted to have a midfielder even today, because the ball was either in their half or our half. The ball was never in the midfield. That's what Man City do so good. Yeah. They rotate. They can, pass the ball in the midfield, and that creates, because if you're passing the ball with your centre backs, that's not actually, because centre backs then need to have a pass that can tear through the defense. Yeah. So we needed to have a midfielder today, and I think that they will have Pep will have a midfielder in the next game, because I don't think that he's going to go too overly cautious against Newcastle, that too, because he just wants to get it done so that he gets that good 2.5 weeks to think about the Champions League finals, watch Chelsea's game, look at, because I still think that we scored today. That's a good positive. We could have scored 2 in 2-3 minutes. That shows that Chelsea's defense is not invincible, and it also shows that our defense is also not invincible. But it does, because we haven't scored against Tuchel in the last match, and there were so many good managers who didn't score against Tuchel. So it showed that they weren't invincible. They can make mistakes at the back, and it was a clear mistake that we scored, how we scored, and that was it. So I think that would be the only positive that probably Man City would take, that we did score first. We had the lead. We could have scored 2 in 5 minutes, 4 minutes, and that could have been the game. But it's football, and things sometimes go towards your way and they don't sometimes.
And lastly, I just want to ask you, what do you think the lineup is going to look like ahead of the Newcastle match? Yeah.
I think Stefan should get a chance, because he really didn't.
But I think Ederson is going for that golden glove, so that's why I think.
Yeah. It's a good thing that Mendy also conceded one, because he would have equaled Ederson's record if he didn't. So yeah, I think Ederson could be, yes, if the golden glove, but he has the golden glove as of now, right?
But he would want second one, obviously.
Yeah, I think he needs one more clean sheet to actually wrap it up. Something like that. So I think.
Yeah, you are. I don't know. He is at 18. Mendy is at 16. So so if he gets one more, so I think he will get.
Yeah, because Mendy didn't get today. So then Ederson may be going for that golden glove. But it's not just Ederson here. The defense needs to be good. Because Ederson can't save everything that comes at him. So
But
I think
I have
Edison
a
would be
feeling,
there.
but I have a feeling that we will play a strong team next when you play Newcastle. We would just want to get it done now because if that
Yeah,
depends, yeah,
now,
that also depends on the result of Man United as well.
if Manchester United, yeah, exactly, because it might be possible that by the time we play Newcastle, we might have won the league also. So if that's the case, then I don't think that there's going to be a strong lineup. But if Manchester United win all three, they're really going to close the gap big time. So then I think it's going to be a strong lineup. It won't be a very strong lineup because these are the teams who play a bit physically, and they might go on and injure some player. I still think
Yeah.
that Sterling, Aguero, and Jesus, these guys are still going to play. I
Hmm.
still want to see Aguero playing a lot more because he needs to do
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
he
And he is
goes.
actually
And
looking good. I mean, there were moments in game.
I I I don't know why Pep. I don't see why Pep decided to
It just no
go
no.
for.
It was because he the board wanted to take him a pay cut, and he was
No,
not
no,
ready
no,
for.
not that. No,
Okay.
no, no, not that. I wanted to say that I don't know why Pep decided to, sub Aguero today
Oh,
instead
okay.
of Jesus. I would have
Hmm.
really wanted him to stay because if you want to have goal, because you need to score goal. That was the score was 1-1 at that time, and you need to score goals, and you don't have very much goal scorers. You have Aguero, who's not played a lot, but he has scored so many goals,
Hmm.
270, I think, 269 goals for Man City. So why not have the greatest goal scorer you have ever had? I was shocked to see Jesus not going out because Jesus wasn't having a good game today. He lacks his decision making is really terrible,
Yeah, I
being a
mean,
striker,
it's the
and he was
front.
playing.
Yeah, the front three. I mean, not front three, but if you include Torres, I mean, with Torres, I feel like it's just a matter of game time and a bit of like time settling in because even when Riyad Mahrez came in, he was a bit like off. But now we have seen when he gets regular playing time, what he can do.
Exactly.
With Ferran Torres as well, I think he does not have that bad of a decision making as I would say with as of Sterling and Jesus, but he's just that he's not getting get that game time.
We've seen Ferran Torres play good because he scored in the first three games in the Champions League group stage,
Hmm.
and he has that touch. He can score. He has good finishing, I think. Then yes, his decision making is good compared to Sterling maybe and Jesus, but it's his first season in Premier League. He's coming from La Liga. It's never easy,
Exactly.
adjusting in Premier League. We saw Timo Werner saying that I've never played so physically when after the first game. But so according to that, Ferran Torres obviously he needs game time, and it's City plays about 60 games in a season if they
Yeah.
go through all the competition. So that's a lot of games for 11 players. So he gets those game times. It's just what I'm concerned about. It's just that patches like he gets a game time now and he gets a game now after then 2 weeks he'd get another game. So
Hmm.
you can dip out in and out of the form by that time. So I think
But that depends
consistently he
upon
needs
them,
to.
really. To be honest with you, that depends really on them. I mean, because Guardiola would like to play a whole different team every week if it is up to him. But
Exactly.
if you are not,
Exactly.
taking your chances, then he does not have it. That's what I was saying. That players did not do themselves any justice. They did not make Guardiola think anything. They did not made a case for
Hmm.
themselves going ahead into this Champions League final. This was a big chance. You are actually playing the team that you are going to play in. That if you do well against this team, if it doesn't matter, there were like few key pieces missing in that team. But like if Sterling could have taken like on Christians and Reeves or Aspilicueta might add, Guardiola would have been thinking in one side of his head that
Yeah,
why
that
yeah.
exactly because it's just a one-off game, and if you're doing good against a team which you are going to play eventually in the Champions League finals, that means that you have something in you that allows you to do good.
Yeah,
We've seen Phil Foden play
you are
so good.
better like in playing against that system.
There are some players who play against some teams better than they play
Exactly.
against some other teams, and that this could have been a chance for any one of them, but no one really stepped up. I wasn't expecting Mendy or someone else, but Sterling he had a good chance. because it's a talking point for now. Every game Sterling starts, a commentator always mentions that a month ago, 2 months ago, who would have thought
76.
Sterling? Yeah,
76.
76 goal games days without a goal, 12 Man City games, and every time commentator says that, who would have thought 3 months ago that Sterling won't be in the first 11 of the team of this team?
Not
I
me.
definitely
Not
wouldn't
me.
have, because he's one of my favorite players. His positioning plays so good. He has scored so many goals, and he has improved so much under Pep Guardiola. He scored 100 goals under Pep Guardiola. So, and this was especially for Sterling. I don't think that Ferran Torres, even if he would have scored a hat trick,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
No,
think
no,
that
no, no. It's just about
uh,
today's match.
it
It
was
was,
just
I
about
think, yeah,
Sterling.
Sterling and maybe Rodri
He,
to
yeah,
see.
yes, obviously, maybe Rodri, but you know, Rodri was actually not never a favorite for finals, because the the big match, how big match, you need to have your actual captain there. You need to have your most experienced player there, one of your most experienced players there. And Fernandino is always, even if he's having a bad game, he's always there mentally. He's always controlling his players. We saw him controlling Zinchenko in the PSG leg. We saw him drawing a baiting Di Maria for that red card. There are not many players who can do those things. And in finals, it's very easy to lose your cool in
Yeah,
matches such like, because they hardly any one of them would play a bigger match if they play World Cup finals or something like that. Hardly
exactly.
anyone would play a bigger match than that. And it's so easy to lose your cool. One push here and there, and you can just go for the throat like that guy, Paredes did. He went for Zinchenko's throat. And,
Yeah,
that could affect very severely in
exactly.
a game like that, because that's going to stick to your head for the very long time. It's not just a regular Premier League game. Like Aguero missed a penalty, okay, I can score
Mm.
many more. But if he does that in a Champions League finals, that actually ends up being the one that could have sealed the game for us. So it sticks with the players for a long time, and it's really difficult to come up. So I would want Fernandino, obviously, in front of Rodri. Even if that Rodri wouldn't have made that silly mistake today, even if that wouldn't have happened, I would have wanted Fernandino in front of him, because I want that one guy who can control the other 10 guys from losing their cool. And
Mm.
that
And
was
just
going to
just before I let you go, I just want to know if we do get a penalty, who is going to take it? Because I think Riyadh, for me, I think it's going to be
in
Riyadh. Like if in Champions
in
League final, I mean, of course,
finals.
yeah,
It's going to be difficult because
because
we don't
because
have
remember
Aguero.
he took a massive penalty at Dortmund. There is no doubt about that. It was, I mean,
And the fact
the
that
pressure of that
he
penalty, like
wasn't
I could feel like,
the and the fact that he wasn't the first guy who was about to take a penalty, it was a certain Kevin De Bruyne
yeah,
who stood at the spot. But I at that moment, I really didn't like that Mahrez is stepping up, because it shows that you're not confident with your penalties. But the way he took it, and it shows Mahrez's confidence,
confident,
that how
yes,
good he is.
exactly,
That yes, if you are not, and De Bruyne is the captain of the team. If you're not comfortable with it, let me take it. I will score.
yeah.
So just because of that, if Man City receive a penalty, I go for Mahrez, because he's also in form. He has scored goals in the previous
He
two
he
fixtures.
he did make two big decisions on to take upon himself. That says a lot. I mean, he did took the penalty and he did take the free
Exactly.
kick.
And the free kick. And
Yeah,
we saw what Kevin De Bruyne
yeah.
said after the match,
Hmm.
that if you believe in yourself, just take the free kick. And, he was a bit lucky, not bit, he was very lucky with the,
I don't
because
know.
it
I
would
don't
have
know
just hit the
why.
wall.
I don't know why we put such pressure on ourselves in penalties. I mean, seriously. To be honest with you, I mean, I don't remember us losing any penalty shootout. I mean, we had a penalty shootout at Community Shield, and then there was in League Cup, and there hasn't been. I haven't seen us losing any penalty shootout.
I, I,
But it just in match. I'm not confident. I don't know what happens.
I'd be very honest with you. If we go to a penalty shootout at this position, we definitely lose it, because we
Mm,
are not at all confident with our.
I know
There are
what you're saying, but it just in a penalty shootout. I mean, I am the guy who questions everything and who's never like confident in that regard when it comes to City playing. But in penalty shootout, I think I would be very confident. I mean, in match penalty,
Also,
I think it just I don't know. I don't trust anyone. But in penalty shootout, because it's just the way that I have seen us winning against Liverpool. You know, funnily enough, I think it was Liverpool and against Liverpool only that we won penalty shootout. So yeah, yeah. So
yeah, it was Carabao Cup or
hmm,
FA Cup or something, and
and
yes,
penalty shootout.
yeah, but it would also, because penalty shootouts happen after 120 minutes.
Hmm.
So there's a 120 minute of game that you have played, and it depends on their confidence, because 120 minutes is enough to either build up someone's confidence or shatter someone's. If there's like De Bruyne's missing open goals in the match, and he would be obviously very underconfident when he takes the penalty in the shootout. Similarly, goes for any player, either team. So it would also depend on that game how we played. Is like in the Chelsea penalty shootout in the Carabao Cup finals, we saw so many things happen to Chelsea. Kepa fighting with Sari, no, not refusing to come, and
Yeah,
that
I mean, oh
showed
yeah, I totally
that
forgot Chelsea also. Like even we had Chelsea the shootout against Chelsea and we won.
we saw Kepa making such a big mistake. Aguero one that was never going to go in. Even Aguero was shocked after he scored that penalty. It just went through Kepa's arms or something like that.
Mm.
And that showed, because Kepa didn't have a good game leading up to that penalty. And obviously he was under confidence. He didn't have that much confidence to save a simple shot that's coming towards his body. So it would also depend on that. But hopefully it doesn't go to penalty shootout, because it would be very suspense and
Yeah.
just finish the game in 90 minutes. But
And
yes, in game,
yeah, yeah.
yes, in game, if we get a penalty, we really need someone who is, and I'm not talking about the finals, I'm talking about the seasons, that we
Hmm.
need someone who can score penalty, because it was Aguero before that, but he missed against Tottenham in that famous game 2 years ago.
I
And
he has missed a lot of penalties in Champions Leagues. I mean, I remember one.
yes,
It's not the game is not so much relevant, but it's funny. It was, I think, we were playing a playoff match for the to qualify for the Champions League. It was the first year of Guardiola, I think, when we finished fourth. After that, so no, I think it was yeah, it was his first year. So we were playing playoff, and Aguero scored like three goals in that match, and he had two penalties, and he missed both of them.
yeah, that's what Aguero can do, because if he even misses a penalty, he can score open goals, goals from open play, and
Exactly.
that's also why I wanted him to stay on
Hmm.
rather than Jesus, because
Even I
I
wanted him
don't
to
know,
stay. Yeah, I wanted
because I
I would have
really
wanted Farhan to go, but I never saw him, so I did not know that he was playing.
no, he did go eventually. He went
Yeah.
out at that exact moment, but I would have wanted Aguero, because it would have taken a lot of pressure from Phil Foden, because
Hmm.
now Phil Foden has to create chances for others to score, and also has to score himself, because he's also one of the leading goal scorers for Man City.
Yeah, I think
And
he's
if
the
Aguero
only
would have been
one.
there,
Hmm.
actually, yeah, with more than 10 goals and 10 assists.
Hmm.
So if Aguero would have been there, because I'm pretty sure that Phil Foden knows that Jesus is not going to convert a lot of chances. So if Aguero would have been there, it would also have taken a lot of pressure off Phil Foden, who's coming in between the match. He's not playing from the very
Hmm.
beginning.
Yeah, yeah.
Him and Gundogan, both of them.
But now I want
So
them to play. I mean, I want Guardiola to just just be done with it. I don't like make us wait anymore because now it's getting nervy. I will be honest. I mean, just take this Newcastle game by.
I still think, for me, it's not getting nervy yet, because um, I after the lineup, I actually didn't expect us to win.
Hmm,
I
that's true.
told you that draw
I
would
was
be a
I was thinking we
for us.
would concede three. I will be honest.
No, I wasn't thinking that. I wasn't thinking that, because we haven't conceded so many in a very long time, and even Chelsea, we've seen them missing chances, and
Yeah,
we
yeah.
had Diaz as support in the defense. So we also conceded two. That's a big thing, because one of them was coming, but the second one was just we switched off, and it was all our mistake. But um, it's still not nervy yet. It would be nervy if, yes, Manchester United do not drop any points and we lose from Newcastle which I don't see happening. But if we do that, then
Newcastle
probably,
has been kind of like a bogey team. So I mean that's why, that's
yeah,
one
it
more
can.
reason. I
Yeah,
mean
it can. They can score, and they can do anything.
I just
After,
hope that
especially after
Steve Bruce plays his master class and he, he just defends, forgets his attacking any sort of sense, and then yeah, but just get it done against Newcastle. And I think we will wrap up this now. And I just, with this last word from you, a lot of people were calling City favorites after we beat PSG. Has that changed for you now?
for me, as I'm a Man City fan, obviously it hasn't changed for me. But after there are so many podcasts and pundits talking about this game, Man City and Chelsea, because it's really unpredictable what is happening. Even if we lost today, we fielded a very weak lineup, and as I said, that only two players are going to be in the finals among these 11. So, and it took Chelsea something to do to beat us, even with this lineup. And we were in control of the game for some time. I won't say the whole majority of the time, but first half, I'm pretty sure that Pep would have been the happier of the two managers. And it's also about, this is the one game that people look forward to when they start their campaign. I don't see why Man City, with their quality, even Chelsea with their quality, why would they play bad in that game? They would do anything to, they will be cautious in the first opening minutes, tight in the defense, narrow. Then they will try to create some chances. I can see that game happening, and I don't think it will be a goal fest for any of the team, neither Man City
Yeah.
nor Chelsea. It's
Yeah.
it's going to be 1-0 or 2-1 or something like that. It's not going to, because they will be very cautious,
I don't
both
think,
those teams,
when was the
unless
last
and until,
time Champions League final was a goal fest? I think, yeah, I
I
think
think it was.
probably Liverpool and Real Madrid won only. I mean, even that,
Yeah,
because
but
it
that
was
I was about to,
because
now
Carrier's
this was,
mistake.
yeah, I was actually going to tell that, because either, unless and until either of those defense make some big mistakes, it won't be a goal fest. And actually, the last time, I think it was the Juventus one,
Yeah,
3-1,
yeah.
and no one made a mistake even in that match. So, but Real Madrid was way ahead of Juventus in that team, in that moment. And Chelsea and Man City are similar, I would say. I think Chelsea would be a bit behind Man City in terms of quality. Also, it would depend a lot on whether how they perform in the FA Cup finals. If they lose the cup, it would be a big blow for them, because they are playing the underdogs of the tournament,
Yeah,
and no one likes
true.
to an underdog.
Yeah.
And they have that top four. Yes, they, with this win, they have secured that. They haven't secured it, but they have strengthened their position. So I don't think that Tuchel would worry about the Premier League very much. So that, and the quality, just the first 11 quality, I think City edges a bit ahead of
Hmm.
Chelsea. So even I think that Man City would be the favorites, because even it also comes down to managers, because Pep has played two Champions League finals. He hasn't lost either of them, and he won both of them pretty convincingly.
Yeah.
And he played against good teams, Manchester United both the times. And Tuchel played his first final last year, and
But
he,
it was, I mean, yeah, it was a completely team performance. But in one finals, it was a Messi masterclass, and the other one, I could say, like Xavi. I mean, in a way, I mean, Xavi was amazing in that sense. So maybe we need one of our players to like just take a bit and
in this big, even if with the semi-final second leg, we saw that, even if individuals step up, they need to step up to a certain degree to actually impact. And I said in my previous podcast that I really expect Neymar to do something, and he was trying, but there was no one else other than him to help him.
yeah.
So, and if you look at Man City, there were so many players who stepped up. I don't think that there was ever a time that, I don't think that this was a game when anyone would have got less than 7 in
Hmm.
their rating. This was a game where everyone would have got more than 7. That the semi-final second leg. So it's, unless and until your name is Messi or Ronaldo, it's going to take a big masterclass to defeat a teamwork
Hmm.
team. And both these teams, actually, even Chelsea don't have a very big standout
Yeah,
player.
yeah.
Mason Mount, yes, does deliver, but it's
No, no,
also
no, no, no,
Timo Werner.
no. Nowhere near the threat of like, I mean, Mbappe and Neymar and all those guys.
Obviously,
Haaland, yeah,
obviously not.
yeah.
Obviously, obviously not. But
Yeah.
they also rely
Touch
on
wood.
teamwork,
I
and
mean,
we saw. It's still 3 weeks, so I'm not
yeah,
thinking.
yeah, yeah. I mean, let's just
If
like
if
we discussed
if the
earlier.
if the if the finals would have been next week, yes, it would have been a lot more nervy because you're losing to a team just now that you are going to. But 3 weeks time, a lot of things can happen.
But
You
yeah, I
know,
mean, I want to say this that the players also that would come in, they have a different mental. I mean, it is a team, but they are in a different mental space as to the ones who are playing today.
for
Yeah,
Manchester City,
Manchester
right?
City, yeah,
Yeah, obviously because they have performed exceptionally well
yeah.
in the Champions League.
And
This team.
it's not like in Champions League. Oh no, sometimes he has. We have actually this year we have a team, A team and B team. We can say that. I mean, the team that because
Exactly.
most of the times we did not know. I mean, it's like with Chelsea now. I mean, I would say they don't know which team they are going to pit in the finals. I mean, majority they
Hmm.
know, but for City fans, we know our. I mean, bar like CDM and left back, we know with. I mean, the whole team.
Even after today, I don't think Chelsea Tuchel is going to get a headache to pick because Pulisic after the match against
Yeah.
Real Madrid, he came out and he said that what more should I do
Hmm.
to, and then Chelsea fans also rally behind Pulisic because they
Hmm.
actually like him a lot
Yeah,
and
and
he's
he
one
is
of the
world
favorite
class.
players.
Yeah, he's world class.
He's and then there's Kai Havertz who played really well, and I think it was the first time I saw Kai Havertz
Exactly.
playing so good,
I
and
think it was the
it's
first. Yeah, you exactly. No, 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 no. I mean, it was coming up. It was coming really because I think I don't know
yeah,
which. I
actually
think
against
Crystal Palace. I
Crystal
think it
Palace,
was.
I think
Yeah,
yes, Crystal Palace he did an exceptional job, but
but I mean, yeah,
doing
to do
against
it
Crystal Palace and
exactly,
doing against Real Madrid
exactly,
is a very big
exactly.
difference.
But yeah, it's just these top players. I think that's what Guardiola is waiting with Sterling. To be honest with you, he's just waiting because he knows Sterling. He has that. He's just waiting to like, come on, Sterling, give me something. I really want you to. I really want to put you in the team. We know he is his
You know,
favorite.
even actually now we've talked about Sterling so much. I don't think that he had a very bad game today because he
But
scored
I'm
a
just
goal
saying. But I'm just saying he did
and
not.
he
Do you think he is coming ahead of like Foden or Bernardo
no,
or
no,
Mar?
no, no,
Yeah.
obviously not. But he didn't make an impact that much. But if it's just about doing their job, there was a beautiful ball that Sterling gave through from that left wing back position that Ferran Torres or Jesus someone headed and it was shot by someone else. So he did do this. He also actually technically he for me he did win a penalty out there. I wanted him to shoot because he is the one guy who's won most penalties for Manchester City.
Yeah.
So he has
Not
something
just
that in his
Manchester
back of the
City. I think he is the one guy who has won the most penalties in. I mean, I can be totally wrong, but I think it's in Premier League. I think he is the one who has won the most penalties.
he actually might be because most of the penalties we get it's either him or it's mostly him.
Yeah,
And
I
for
mean,
me, he
in the
actually
first
did win.
season, yeah, he when he came, it was just he was winning penalties all over the D. But I mean, right now he has taken his game a bit more and he's scoring, which has now stopped. I don't know how, but yeah. So like, I mean, but yeah, Guardiola is looking for him as like his impact player. I think he just wants him to be in like a form that he can call upon him if needed.
If I would be in Sterling's shoes, I wouldn't be very disappointed with today because it's a team game and he did score. Aguero did a big touch, and I didn't see Aguero scoring from that position. Sterling chased the ball and he did score.
Hmm.
He needed
Yeah,
that goal.
yeah, yeah.
Definitely, he needed that goal, and he did come close once or twice to score more. That Zuma block, which was the clean tackle just before the penalty shout, that was a good run by Sterling. He did a bit more runs here and there. So I think to top it off, Sterling did have a decent game. I wouldn't blame him for the loss because the one goal we have in on the score sheet is because of him.
Yeah,
And he also at the end he also did give a small ray of hope to Man City by winning that was a clear contact, and I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
know
That
what.
was a
Yeah,
penalty.
refereeing, and this is us being Man City fans, so maybe others would be a
Yeah.
bit. But I also asked one of my friends who's a United fans, and he even said that there was a contact, and we've seen VAR. If even if Anthony Taylor isn't seeing, and Anthony Taylor did a very bad job today as a referee, because I don't know, he didn't give a lot of
I mean,
decisions on either way,
it's
even for
frustrating.
Chelsea and even
Yeah,
for.
it's frustrating that we can count on fingers that how many good referees are there. It's not. It should not be like that. I mean,
In Premier League, yes, I don't think there are many good referees. I think Atkinson is one. Other than that, I
uh,
really hate John Moss. And
was
Mike
it
Dean hasn't.
was it John Moss like who was the fourth referee Guardiola was going to and talking?
John Moss. It was
I don't
it
know
was
why he
John
was
Moss.
going to him. I mean,
He does that every time.
clearly he doesn't have
Uh,
like any clear idea what to go, what to not.
that Pep does that every time. If he gets uh, a wrong decision here and there, and, and
It's like
actually, you know what, I have actually felt that this decision was due, because we have been lucky in many places for for because it's
hopefully
really.
this was
And
the one
and
that came in
thankfully
the.
it came, yeah,
Yeah.
thankfully it came right now rather than coming in the finals, because
That's what
that
we
would have
all.
been
That's what
disastrous.
I think. That's what our conversation has really built on. That thankfully,
It
all that
happened
happened
now.
today. Thankfully, this
Now,
happened
yes,
today. Thankfully, yeah.
because
I
this
mean,
was the one game where there was no pressure for Man City,
exactly.
because the other game is going to be,
Yeah,
and I really, and
and
it would have been.
I wasn't nervous. I mean, that's something because really it wasn't. I mean, yeah.
I I wasn't nervous. I was a bit
No,
frustrated
no,
as the
I
game
am always
progressed, but
what I'm saying is I'm always nervous. So today I was not nervous. That just translates you that it wasn't really a game like we were going for.
yes, exactly. But it would have been very good for Manchester City if
Amazing.
even if somehow we would have won
Yeah.
it. Say that we got that penalty,
And
even though we were clearly not the
especially
best.
if we
And
have played poorly.
I actually don't like when Man City play poorly and still get the win. I actually don't like, because this happened to me against West Ham when our both CB scored, Diaz and
Hmm.
Stones. We won the
Wow.
better team on that
No,
day.
no way.
We won never, and there was another game, Southampton, where we won just 1-1-0.
Exactly,
That
exactly.
was from where our winning run started.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And even then we weren't the better team at that day, but somehow we managed to win. So I on a normal case, I don't like Man City winning like that, but today I would have accepted, because we are going to play them in the Champions League finals.
And we
We
would have
lost
been
them
the
in an FA Cup,
champions.
and we would have been the champions. Yes, obviously, we would have been the champions if we would have defeated them. But it's a game of fine margins, and it's going to be a game of fine margins in the finals. So
Yeah. So let's
it's still 3 weeks,
yeah. Ended that.
and
Okay.
recap of a very disappointing night.
It would be, I mean, we would come back to this if, in that game, it doesn't go our way. Otherwise, I think I would not lose my sleep over this. But if we lose that game, I think we will just go back to every decision, every game that in the season that happened. And even the
But
Champions League, even the FA Cup semi-final, we will go back and why did we throw that away?
no, I still think that we still need to go back, because people don't like saying the quadruple thing, but now that we have reached at the penultimate stage of every competition other than the FA Cup,
And
it
yeah,
does
and
really
I
hurt,
mean,
because
and
at
even if
that
we
time
do
we
the
weren't
treble,
sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And when we lost the semifinals, we weren't sure that whether we are going to win the Carabao or whether we are going to go to the finals of Champions League. But now that we have done those things, so it really is a lot more disappointing that we lost that game. And actually, we didn't even play very good in that game. That so many
It
things
was
went
similar
against us.
situation, too many changes. I mean, and honestly, I felt like we were not actually going for that game. And
But it was acceptable today that there were so many changes. But that game, you are playing a
yeah,
cup
no wait, yeah,
semifinals. It
yeah,
was,
yeah, no, no, and
just grill the players you have and let
just
them rest until
yeah,
PSG game, because
and
the
just
next one
giving
was
others
Aston
chance.
Villa,
Yeah, exactly.
and there was a Carabao Cup finals also. So I can see why Pep went for so many changes, but still too
And it
many
just
changes
gives
are.
other fans chance to say that it's not a real trouble. We know that it's not a real trouble now, but it will be a trouble, and I think it will be one of the unique troubles because I don't think this has happened.
No, I don't think this has happened. Yes,
Yeah. So I
true.
mean,
We
yeah,
must.
of course,
There have been teams who
United
have.
would have their
United.
treble, real treble, whatever you want to call it, but we would have our own treble.
I'm not even looking for a treble. I just want Man City to win that big thing, because for me, if a team wins a Champions League,
Yeah. Oh,
it's
no,
an
no, no,
elite
no.
team,
Oh,
and
believe
they
me,
have
I don't care now. And if it's a treble, I just want a Champions
exactly,
League.
because you are at the doorstep and you want to go in, and that's how I can feel for PSG and why they were favorites this time, because Bayern were knocked out by them, and it was their taking actually, because Man City weren't coming in from a very good form. They had lost their home game to Leeds, they had lost to Chelsea, they weren't at their best form, and PSG even started so good, but after that it's all about discipline, and that shows why PSG didn't win the Champions League even last year, and
I
they are going
mean,
to win it today this
I
year.
mean, you said for you it was City the favorites, but for me it wasn't. The City weren't favorite against PSG, and for me they are not favorites against
No, for
Chelsea
me,
as well.
even for me, they are favorites against Chelsea, but they weren't favorite, because it comes to down to this, because for you PSG were the favorites in the Champions League, right?
Yeah,
But Man City defeated PSG quite convincingly.
yeah,
4-1
but
was the
sometimes,
aggregate score.
sometimes you know what happens? It's just the style of play. Sometimes it just does not suit you.
I still think, acha, oh, I still
Yeah,
think
this,
that Man City's style of play is good enough for Chelsea. We could have won the game today, even with the personal we had. We had that penalty that we missed. We
hmm.
just shot ourselves in our legs.
Yeah, no,
We
no, no.
did a
I
our
would say this. I would say this. That if we are clinical on that day, I think we will win because we would. I think it just. I honestly, I think our players, like if you compare them one on one, I'm much more happier with our bunch of guys. And yeah, really. I mean, Foden, just amazing. Mahrez, I mean, if he's playing against us, like oh, the way he is now, like he's developed his right foot as well. I mean, so and De
yes,
Bruyne,
yes.
if there is a De Bruyne again like against you, it just makes you think so much. And but I just because Chelsea is set up in a way that I think it just built to hurt teams on counter, and we are a bit I don't know, we are a bit vulnerable to counter still. I mean, Diaz has brought a lot to this defense, and we are not that as vulnerable to counter as we were like this last year, if you want. I mean, in the last to last year. But uh, but it just, I think it would all come down to the who is more clinical on the day,
Hmm.
because not many
Yes.
chances will be there.
Exactly. There won't be many chances. I would be surprised if there are as many chances as we got against PSG in the
Hmm.
second leg, because we got a lot of chances,
Yeah,
but we didn't score a lot. But there won't be half as many chances as there was. Two, three chances, and you need to be good.
and just a 90 minutes game,
And
so like the teams would be on the fence for like most of the time.
yes, exactly, because the momentum is going to shift on either side very fast. We saw it happening even today. In the last 15 minutes, it was so dramatic until they scored the first goal. Before that, it was they were getting the chances, but Man City were at ahead, and we couldn't really go towards that panic mode type for Chelsea. So we did concede, and then after
Hmm.
15 minutes they get a chance there, and then we get a penalty occurrence here. So I don't think it would be so much like that, but the momentum is definitely going to go here and there over the
Hmm.
course of 90 minutes. It would be City sometimes, it would be Chelsea sometimes. Depends on who has the momentum for majority of the time. And there's
Hmm.
also one thing that even in these Champions League big games, you have to see who's the best player you have on the pitch, compare when including the opposition also, like 22 players. You need to see who's the best player in them, and it's obviously the team who has the best player has the better chances to win. And Kevin De Bruyne is going to be the best player on the pitch, not on the pitch, in his resume and all. He's the best player among those 22, and I think that he's probably the third or fourth best player in the world. So obviously he's the best player in that pitch at that time. So there's also that bit driving force, and plus he would have his work cut off if Fernandinho is going to be there, who would be commanding, and plus Diaz. We have a leader in every
Yeah, but we can
department.
say,
So
what we can say is that if both teams play at their best, City wins. It's just
Yes,
yeah.
that's the quality comes at. It's
Yeah.
Man City. We've seen Man City play good against big teams. We've seen Man City play so good against
But if
Liverpool at
but
Anfield.
if any of the team is
Then,
not at their game, I think the other one takes it.
but it's still against this again brings back to my that point that player look forward to this one game for the whole season, because I'm pretty sure that Premier League, though Pep says that Premier League is primary for him, but
Yeah, yeah.
we won the league. We are the favorites to win the league for quite some time. I think since February, I think it was Man City league to win. So it gives you 3 months, and players do look forward to the one thing that they never won before. They've never even come close to winning, and that's Champions League. And it should be their motivation for either teams. I'm talking about both the teams now, that it should be every 22 players, it should be their motivation, because they have worked hard for the past 10 months for this one thing, and they need to be good, and probably they will be good, because I've never seen I have seen certain players not being good on that day, but there were other controversies to that. So I still think that it would be a good game. It won't be a goal fest. It would be a good game, but I still think Man City will edge out the win. It wouldn't be a convincing win for them.
Nah, don't need convincing. Just
Yeah, obviously it would. Obviously, we just need the win. And
I don't care if
now,
Sterling scores that goal like he scored against. I think I don't know which team he scored. His head rolling down on the floor. I think it's I think it's Burnley. If he scores like that, I think it's. I don't care if it's like through whatever means. It's an own goal.
There is a good amount of chance that a goal like can come. A deflection here and there. I've read a meme that I can see Tuchel fielding out 8 players and then winning the Champions League with a deflected goal. Something like that can also happen, because fine margins are going to play a huge role in that match. And another thing, last thing that I'd want to say for Man City would be that losing today, yes, it's a psychological blow, but I feel and I hope that it acts as a motivating factor, because now you've lost to this team back to back. You need to do something, and twice is the favorite word for Guardiola. So you need to do something to get back the respect that you've lost over these 2 matches.
Yeah, so win this and everything is forgotten.
Obviously, everything is forgotten. Nothing. Win this and everything, every mistake that everyone has done, even
forgiven, forgotten, under the bridge, under the water.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was just like if we win against Dortmund, we would have forgotten the Leeds defeat.
Yeah.
And we did win against Dortmund, and the Leeds defeat actually doesn't hurt me that much.
Yeah, no, doesn't remember.
For me, it doesn't hurt me that much now. That it did hurt me a lot, and if we would have lost against Dortmund after that, it would have hurted a lot more.
Then
because we fielded a weak lineup. We lost that match, and then for this match, so so that's going to happen. If we win the league, Champions League, then it would be forgotten everything in this season.
So okay, on that we will sign off, and do subscribe to the channel so that every time we upload a new video you get the notification, and also comment whatever you think about the video. Thank you, Aniket, for coming on to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.